Dryden. Stand-up goaltender cuts down those angles, and big things are expected of Dave Dryden this year in the owner net.
Dave Dryden, the most valuable player in the World Hockey Association last season. We're about to get this game underway for the Oilers. It's Weir with Hunter and Lumley, Fogelin and Lowe. For the Chicago Blackhawks, Lysiak with Kerr and Mulvey on the wings. Bob Murray and Doug Wilson are the defensive pairing for Chicago as the face-off called back. And we're only 7 seconds into this hockey game.
There's Glenn Sather, coach of the Oilers, and one comment that he made this morning was his boys are going to go out there and they're going to be working 100%. They're going to lose some hockey games this year due to inexperience, but one thing they will be doing, they'll give it all they have.
Weir and Lysiak facing off in the neutral zone. From the draw, goes to the open wing. Lowe chasing after it along with Murray. They chop at it. Comes back into Oilers territory. It's Lysiak and Hunter in the corner. Lowe behind the net. Was hit. Fell to the ice. Out to center. Weir can't take the pass and shot back into Edmonton territory. Lowe ahead to Hunter. He let it go to center ice. Now at his own line is Doug Wilson. Ahead to Murray. Murray getting away from Weir. Coming in over the Oiler line on the right side, takes his shot, went off a stick. Dryden leaving it behind the net for Lee Fogelin. On the right side, it's Lumley to Weir. Weir backhanding it into Chicago territory. To the corner they go. To the right of Esposito, jamming at it. Comes to the side of the net, and Murray playing it back around the boards to Reg Kerr. Kerr ahead to Lysiak. His pass for Wilson went to the neutral zone. Now Wilson recovers at center ice and plays it into Edmonton territory. Blackhawks already signing on a new line. Now right in front it came, and Fogelin clearing it to the corner, then took a nudge from Lysiak. Lumley playing it into Chicago territory as Keith Magnuson goes back for it. Just into the hockey game. It's scoreless. History in the making. The Oilers' first ever NHL League game. Here's Stan Mikita. The shot! And down is Dryden with the crowd. They score! And Dryden is going to complain about this one to referee Bob Myers. What do you think, Gary?
Well, we'll have to wait. I don't know if Myers is calling that a goal or not. I guess he is. The puck was certainly under Dryden's head there. And Mikita had just wristed a shot at him, and it just lay there. And one thing about Marks, he penetrated and kept slashing away there and knocked it in the net. Now just watch that, how Mikita gets the puck just over the line. Swings around now. He'll just throw a little shot in front of the net. You'll see it right under Dryden, and it looks like it's going to be called. Marks just comes in and keeps pushing at it and finally knocks it in the net.
It counts 1-0. Blackhawks drawing first blood within the first 2 minutes of the first period. It's Mikita in the corner to the right of Dryden, digging at it, still with it along the boards. And then loses it to Risto Siltanen. Lead pass to Callaghan. For Gretzky going after it behind the Blackhawk net. Cleared away by Greg Fox. And now back in behind it goes. Callaghan is there, and Mikita comes back to recover for Chicago. Out to center, the pass to Marks, feeding it into Oilers territory. The corner it goes. This is Doug Hicks. Getting watched by number 20 of the Hawks, Cliff Corral. Now out to center. And into Chicago territory it came, but chopped back into the neutral zone. Silverman to Callaghan. To the corner it goes. And the Blackhawks with Fox. Ahead to Mikita at center. Right wing pass offside. Blackhawks going in ahead of the play. It was J.P. Bordelot.
We're going to have another look at that goal from right behind Dryden. And here's the way it looks as Dryden sees it. And again, you see Mikita just wristed in front. There's a scramble, and Marks, he just kept pushing away and pushing away. And finally the puck goes in the net. But it seemed kind of strange that Myers wouldn't call that one, because it didn't look like he, that he did lose sight of the puck.
There's Tom Lysiak to the left. And they're fired up here tonight in the Chicago Stadium, even though they do not draw the capacity crowds they once did. From the face-off, Esposito leaving it to the side of the net for O'Connell. He then was checked flat centering it. Chipperfield banned on the shot. 1-0 Blackhawks. 17:21 left to go in the first period. Here comes it. Rich Preston. And Ruskowski's over to congratulate him. And what a play.
Rich Preston, that was just a lot of effort, because Flynn had him tied up. you can't check a man any better than this. And he's out of the picture right now, but here are the pass goes, and look at how Flett has him tied up. And somehow he gets a stick on it and deflects it high over the stick side of Dryden.
Boy, that's the way Ruskowski and Preston used to do it in Winnipeg.
Here it comes again. Ruskowski throws it across, and beautiful goal. Good effort.
Blackhawks leading 2-0. 17:09 left in the first period. At Price. Out the center it comes. They jam forward. It comes back to Price at the Oiler line. Shooting it into Chicago territory. And a penalty coming up. High sticking infraction. And heading towards the penalty box, Perry Ruskowski.
Well, you know, the game is just 4 minutes old. They got lots of time left. It's very important now that the Oilers just keep their composure. Don't get running around and play that wide open hockey. They got lots of time left.
There's the penalty. Right there, you saw Ruskowski with a stick up. Couple of quick goals by Chicago. Marks and then Preston. So the Oilers with a power play. Pat Price on the right point. Siltanen on the left. Chipperfield, Flett, and Messier. And the Hawks clear it down the ice, killing the penalty for Chicago. John Marks, Cliff Corral, Doug Wilson, and Bob Murray. This is Chipperfield in over the Chicago line with Cowboy Flett. Comes to the front of the net, cleared away by Murray. Oilers still jamming for it. That's Pat Price along the boards. It comes to center ice, and Risto Siltanen turns. Gives it to Preston. Back to Siltanen. To Price. In Oiler territory. 1:20 remaining in the penalty to Ruskowski. Price just shoots it in wide of the net. Flett goes after it. Took a shove from Marks. Chipperfield dropping it back to Price. Turning to get away from Corral. Now lets a shot go in front of the net. Chipperfield jams at it. And Esposito with the save and then clears it away. Bill Flett to the corner. Being watched by Marks. Flett taking a hit. Back behind the net it comes. Right to the front lead Chipperfield. And he came with a shot as he was knocked down by Wilson. This is Marks across his line to center. And Corral backhands it into Oiler territory. Dryden leaving it for Risto Siltanen. At center ice, coming in over the Chicago line with it is Gretzky. Putting on the brakes. He was checked. It went wide. This is Callaghan to the corner. Watched by Magnuson. Callaghan almost checked. Got it back. This is B.J. McDonald trying to jam it in front. Was checked. Siltanen to Price. And he was checked by Reg Kerr, but keeps it in. There's Gretzky from the side of the net, cutting into the slot. That's a shot. Goal! Comes all the way back into Oiler territory. And Risto Siltanen behind his net. 2-0 Blackhawks. 14:55 left, first period. Callaghan dragging it in. This is Blair McDonald by wrist shot. And Esposito deflecting it wide of the net. Down to the ice goes Callaghan. And Magnuson could get a penalty. Now they're pushing and shoving with Gretzky and Magnuson. And Reg Kerr is there. And a whole crowd.
Well, a lot of good hitting going on there. Chicago playing very aggressively tonight. And the sticks came up, and I think Bob Myers, he's going to call a couple of penalties, one against each team there.
From Chicago Stadium, this is Oilers hockey on ITV.
Open spaces and the best kind of living. Now that's Canadian country.
Couple of penalties. Gretzky off for the Oilers. Magnuson is off for the Chicago Blackhawks, Gary, and we're going to have a look at that.
Well, there you see it in the corner there. You know, Gretzky had made a great play on Esposito on the shot and then set up one of his teammates for a good scoring play. And, you know, you look at Gretzky at 175 pounds. The Blackhawks, they want to thump him around a little bit and just see if he can take the rough going.
Chicago lost both Magnuson and Greg Fox on that occasion. The Oilers with a man advantage. It's 4-3. Manpower-wise, 2-0 on the scoreboard, and the Blackhawks out in front. 14:33 left in the first period. Lee Fogelin behind his net for the Oilers. The Blackhawks came out flying and stung. In over the line, Kevin Lowe, and an offside on the Oilers. They'll bring it back outside the Chicago blue line.
You know, this is very characteristic of the Chicago Blackhawk team. You know, as Eddie Johnson said this morning, he said, we will have an aggressive team this year. It's very important to get off to that good start. And, you know, the Blackhawks have been known for this for years. Those first 5 minutes, very critical. And they showed it tonight, you know, what a fast start will do for you.
Eddie Johnson, first year as a coach in the National Hockey League. Kevin Lowe in his own zone ahead to Fogelin. To Blair McDonald, he lost the pass. And a two-line offside on the Oilers. The face-off coming up inside the Edmonton blue line.
You know, Chicago Stadium, the ice surface is very, very slick. The puck slides good as we see Blair McDonald getting ready for the face-off. And also the boards are very lively, so you can see why the centerman will dump it into the corners periodically, you know, to try to let those wingers catch up to it.
The Oilers have Chipperfield, Fleck, Siltanen, and Price. For Chicago, Kerr, Murray, and Wilson. On the face-off, Chipperfield got it to Fleck, back to Price. Got Price, being watched by the former Kamloops Chief Jr., Reg Kerr. Price, ahead to Chipperfield. Chipperfield being watched by Kerr at the left point, now closing in. Back to the line to Siltanen. Over to Pat Price. Price being watched very closely by Wilson. Keeps it in, gets it over to Risto Siltanen. Backhanding it along for Chipperfield. He would then couldn't clear it in front. He was checked by Doug Wilson. Back to Siltanen. Across to Price. Flett is in front of the net. Price waiting. Fires it across to Chipperfield. And Chipperfield can't control it. It's fired down the ice by Bob Murray. Price bringing it back in with Bill Flett. Face-off circle. Now in behind the net for Cowboy Flett. Centering it. And there for the Blackhawks is Dave Logan. Banking it off the glass back to Oilers territory. Dave Lumley. In over the line with Stan Weir now. Weir being watched by Logan. The pass back to the line. It comes back to the neutral zone. Siltanen ahead to Price. 7 seconds. 6 seconds left in the penalties. Stan Weir on the left wing side. Getting it back to Siltanen. Trying to jam it back to Weir. Checked away. And the Blackhawks lose it in their own zone. Weir then couldn't pick it up. Siltanen fell down. And Weir going back to his line. Both clubs back at full strength. 12:25 left first period, 2-0 Blackhawks. Siltanen at the Chicago line, backhanding it into the corner. In behind his net for it, Mike O'Connell. To Logan. At center ice. Lysiak, right wing pass. Mulvey centering it. And it went to the corner. This is Lumley. Playing it ahead to Dave Hunter at center ice. In over the Chicago line, the shot. Esposito gloves it. Lumley in the corner. Trying to work it back to the line. He does, but it comes all the way back into Edmonton territory. Doug Hicks giving it to Colin Campbell. Lysiak picked it up at the Oiler line. Dropped it back to Logan. Now LeCure. And an offside on the Blackhawks. 2-0 Blackhawks live from Chicago. This is your Molson Hockey Telecast.
Hi, I'm Paul Hand to tell you about Frontier Ford. Edmonton's newest full-service Ford facility, now open in Mill Woods. Straight Western dealing is what we're all about. We want to sell you a new car or truck. And we've got the people and the prices that set us a breed apart. Right, guys?
Face-off coming up outside the Oiler blue line. Makita wins the draw. This is Magnuson shooting it into Edmonton territory. Dryden out of the net, leaving it for Kevin Lowe. The Blackhawks with 2 men up. Into the corner. Marks jamming for it along with Fogelin. Took him out of the play, but Makita has it behind the Oiler net. Back to Magnuson. Fires it around the boards. Cliff Coro picks it up for the Hawks. To the side of the net. And jamming at it for the Blackhawks was Marks, but Dryden pins it along the boards. The Blackhawks flying.
Again, they're putting 2 men in there, forechecking very well. And, you know, on this face-off coming up, well, the Oilers are changing now, but you had Gretzky against Makita. Here, Makita had scored 539 goals, 921 assists, 21. This is his 21st year, and he was facing off against Gretzky before, who was playing in his first National Hockey League game. Just tremendous.
Chipperfield against Ruskowski. In the face-off circle to Dryden's left. From the drop, Chipperfield wins it. Lowe being watched behind the net, getting it ahead on the left wing side. Out to center, Semenko tried to play it ahead. Murray shoots it back into Edmonton territory. On the right wing side, Driscoll playing it around the board. Semenko took a hack at it, missed it. Ruskowski takes over. To Wilson. Penalty coming up to the Oilers. In over the line, and we have the penalty coming up. This is NHL hockey live from the Chicago Stadium in Chicago.
You Do It Electrical, your first and last stop for home electrical needs. In-store models show you how to wire garages, cottages, or complete homes, from the simplest switch to breaker panels. Along with electrical supplies, wiring diagrams are available, and a qualified electrician is present to help you plan and solve all wiring problems. For all electrical supplies and advice, go to You Do It Electrical. One stop does it all at 8720 51st Avenue.
Chicago Blackhawks, Terry Ruskowski cooling his heels for a couple of minutes.
Great opportunity here for the Oilers to get back in this game, and just watch how that puck follows Gretzky around.
From the face-off outside the Oiler line, this is Fogelin being watched by Marks. Back to Lowe in front of his net. Bringing it ahead to Gretzky, who is checked. Murray slaps it back into Edmonton territory. Fogelin to Blair McDonald to Gretzky. Gretzky in over the line with Callaghan. Turns at the point, drops it over to Fogelin on the right side. His shot, and Esposito with a save the rebound. Callaghan in the corner. Takes the shot, and Esposito another sprawling save. Callaghan still with it. The Oilers with a man advantage. Fires it across the backhand. They score! Kevin Lowe, the rookie.
Oh, what a great play by Callaghan, though. And Lowe, great anticipation from his left point spot. You know, he hit for the net, and Callaghan fed him with a pass. We're going to see this one again. There, Callaghan sits and waits for Lowe to get in that position. He had a little trouble getting good control of the puck, but it got on his backhand and into the far corner to get the Oilers into this hockey game. Again, we'll see that same play. Callaghan watches, waits for his man to get in position. There it is. Not much of a shot, but it certainly went over that line to give the Oilers their first goal in the National Hockey League by rookie Kevin Lowe.
2-1 Blackhawks, 10-11 left in the first period. Weir dumping it into Chicago territory. O'Connell goes behind his net. Oilers keep it in. O'Connell again behind his net. To Reg Kerr. Slaps it up to center right. There's Lysiak breaking in. Stan Weir drags him down. An obvious penalty coming up as Weir drags down his old junior teammate, Tom Lysiak.
Well, what a collision. You know, there's the difference between a good penalty and a bad penalty. The one that Ruskowski took before was a slashing penalty, not a very good penalty in your own zone. But that time, it was to save a goal because Lysiak was in the clear.
This is the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks.
These aren't just snow tires. These are Goodyear ice radios. They give you traction on ice without studs. If you want to get around safely this winter, get a set of Goodyear ice radios around you. The ice radio, from Goodyear. Traction on ice without studs.
There's Stan Weir sitting in the penalty box just after dragging down Tom Lysiak. Here it is.
There, he was in the clear, had a good chance, and Weir hauled him down. And this will give the Blackhawks an opportunity, and with Stan Mikita in the faceoff spot.
Ruskowski's also out. McDonald clearing it into the neutral zone. Here's a 2-on-1. McDonald at Chipperfield. The pass to Chipperfield too far. And the Hawks bring it back. 3-on-2. Mikita in with Ruskowski and Lysiak. The shot by Mikita. And Dryden juggling it, then hanging on. And the face-off coming up in Oiler territory.
Great save by Dryden there. And you notice when Mikita carries that puck, he just slides over the line and just hangs onto the puck. He waits for the defenseman to come to him. There he goes, just weaving over. You know, the defensemen start backing in. He just gets going closer to the net.
Face-off in Edmonton territory. It's getting pretty physical out there. This is Mikita. Back to the line to Wilson. To Mikita. On the left wing side. Trying to set up Lysiak. Played it across. This is Lysiak. Checked by Chipperfield. Kept in by Murray. To Doug Wilson at the left point. Into Mikita. Ruskowski creating interference in front. The shot high off the glass. Back it comes to Murray. In behind for Lysiak. Ruskowski now with it. Into the corner. Tried to give it to Lysiak. Has it. Turning it ahead of the circle. Back to the line to Murray. Murray shooting it in behind the Oiler net. Ruskowski had sticks up in front with Lee Fogelin.
Well, Fogelin, he's doing his job there. He's clearing the front of the net, and we're going to have double penalties again. But, you know, the Oilers, they played the box very well there. And
Ruskowski and Colin Campbell. This is Ruskowski's third penalty in this first period.
Well, they said, Johnson said he has a tendency to be aggressive.
Hunter breaks it up. Hunter chopping it out to the neutral zone with 1:57 left in the first period. It is 2-2. 1:26 left in the penalty to Driscoll. Blackhawks with a man advantage. Back to Murray, the shot. Wide of the net. Wilson kicking at it. And the Oilers take over. Lee Fogelin brings it to center ice with Weir in over the line. The shot wide of the net. Bounces in front. Tony Esposito elects to hang on with Stan Weir standing on the doorstep.
Well, good effort again by the Oilers, killing off the penalty as we see Esposito.
With the score, Edmonton 2, Chicago 2. This is NHL Wednesday Night Hockey.
Waterbed warehouse, we got the style. Comfort to keep yours sleeping with wild. You love it so much when we lay you down to sleep. Waterbed warehouse, we got you in mind. Keep you relaxed all of the time. You love it so much when you drift off naturally. Waterbed warehouse, the natural way to sleep.
Back to the live action. Chicago Reg Kerr in over the line. Got around Fogelin, goes to the corner, tries to center it to Marks. He goes then to the opposite corner. Marks has the Hawks still with a man advantage. Callaghan watching. Back to the line to Murray. Callaghan cannot clear it out of his zone. Back in the corner it comes to Ruskowski. Across the Marks. The shot. They score! And the Blackhawks go ahead 3-2.
Well, another power play goal, and Mark's high wrist shot over the right shoulder of Dryden. And Dryden, I don't think he saw that one all. He was screened onto the play. And we're going to see it. The Oilers almost got it out at the blue line. Somehow the Blackhawks managed to keep it in, and there you saw the shot by Marks. Just caught inside the post, and the Blackhawks are leading 3-2.
Give some credit to Terry Ruskowski on that goal.
He's been all over the ice tonight. He's just doing some kind of job for the Hawks.
Ruskowski and Murray assisting on the goal by Marks. It's Marks' second goal of the first period. And the Hawks lead at 3-2. We're in the last minute of play in this period. Makita trying to jam it in front. Siltanen clears it away. Fox along the board. Being watched by Bill Flett. They jam for it. Oilers take over. There's a whistle. And a stoppage in play. With 43 seconds left to play in the first period. The score, Chicago 3, Edmonton 2.
See the great new Pontiacs, Buicks, Cadillacs, and GMC trucks at Hugh McCall South Park. Beautiful inside and out. And the deals are beautiful, too, because Hugh McCall runs a very simple business.
We run a simple business. There will never be a better way.
Come to Hugh McCall South Park, 82nd Avenue and 106th Street.
29 seconds left to play in the first period. And a face-off coming up in Chicago territory. Let me remind you, we have a game coming up next Wednesday night. Minnesota playing at Toronto. And you'll see the Maple Leaf broadcast crew taking care of that one.
New coach for the Leafs. Should be interesting.
Lloyd Smith. Face-off in Chicago territory. O'Connell playing it ahead to center ice. Colin Campbell has it for the Oilers at his line. Shooting it back into Blackhawk territory. Fox behind his net, being watched by McDonald. Playing it ahead to Cliff Corral. They hold it along the boards. Now it's popped loose. This is Gretzky taking a jab at it. Back to Colin Campbell. His shot knocked down. Callaghan trying to extend it. Now to Gretzky to the side of the net. And Tony Esposito made the save. 2 seconds. 1. And that's the end of the first period. And what a period it was, Gary Dornhofer. All kinds of action, end-to-end. And the Hawks lead at 3-2 at this point.
Well, we had a lot of wide-open play out there. Some power play goals, but I thought it was a tremendous effort by both teams. They came to play tonight.
And so, the score at the end of the first period, Chicago Stadium, and the second period about to get underway with the Chicago Blackhawks leading the Oilers 3-2. It was Marks, Preston, and Marks again in that first period for the Blackhawks. For the Oilers, Kevin Lowe got the first ever NHL goal scored by the Edmonton Oilers, and then Dave Hunter with the second, and the play underway. This is Murray in his own zone, now to center ice, shoots it into Edmonton territory. Comes to the side of the net, Fogelin jamming at it. Now Dave Lumley plays it back behind his net. It's Kevin Lowe turning to get away from the checking of J.P. Bordelot. They go to the boards along with Ruskowski and Weir. Bordelot jams it loose, was checked by Lowe. Now at center ice with the pass, Hunter. Intercepted by Bordelot. And Preston shoots it back into Edmonton territory. Kevin Lowe being watched by Terry Ruskowski. Jams it ahead to Dave Lumley. It's Hunter, left side. Takes the shot, and Esposito steers it to the corner. Lumley jamming it back to Siltanen. His shot went wide, and Stan Weir can't keep it. This is Bordelot coming in over the Edmonton line. Was checked by Lowe. Murray across to Wilson. A long shot high into the end blues.
Okay. Oilers only one behind, and we talked briefly. Keep your composure out there. They're playing a pretty good hockey game. I think the Oilers have to put a little more pressure on the Blackhawks zone, because anytime you harass those defensemen, they have a tendency to cough up the puck, as we see Siltanen waiting for the opening draw here.
From the face-off, Makita getting it back to Marks. This is Stan Makita, his long shot. And Dryden hangs on, leaving it then for Hicks. Forechecking Marks and Makita. The Oilers fail to clear it from their zone. Knocked down by Colin Campbell, kept in at the left point by Fox. Comes to the side of the slot, shot in front, and Callaghan just cleared it away. Now Siltanen. Or the Oilers ahead to McDonald with Gretzky in over the line, and Callaghan was in a stride ahead of Gretzky. Let me point out, Gary, the Oilers outshot the Blackhawks in the first period 14-11.
Certainly getting the good scoring chances, especially on the power play. I thought they moved the puck really well in that power play, had some good chances. But you know they have to get somebody in front of that net when they're shooting. It seemed like Esposito, he had a clear view of a lot of the shots. You know how he spreads out, goes down on his knees. There's a former teammate of mine, first Stanley Cup champion of the Phillies, Billy Flett. Very aggressive player.
Had a pretty good preseason, too.
Yes, he did.
This is Murray. Messier handing it off to Chipperfield, puts the moves on Lysiak, dumps it to Cowboy Flett, and he was set from behind by Reg Kerr. Along the boards, Chipperfield and Kerr jam for it. Now Mulvey brings it to center ice, kicks it ahead, gets around Hicks, but Silverman takes over. Across to Messier. Messier, long clearing pass into Chicago territory, goes behind the net. Tony Esposito leaving it there. And ahead it comes. Kerr leaves it for Lysiak. Gets around Silverman. This is Lysiak with Mulvey. Dropping it back to Mulvey. Trying to set up Kerr. And it went through the slot. Now the Oilers bring it back to center. Chipperfield with Messier. Offside Oilers.
You know, that Chipperfield, he really knows what to do with that puck. And I talked to him this morning. And as we see Billy Flett skating off, and he said he likes to have his wingman coming late. You know, he likes to go over that blue line first, and Flett, he's one of the best at coming late, so that when he gets that puck from Chipperfield, he's in full stride. And, you know, when you're going at a good rate of speed, that's when you can do something with that puck.
Dave Lumley sitting to the right of Bill Flett. Face-off coming up outside the Chicago line. Makita against Gretzky. From the draw, Coro getting it back into his own zone. Blackhawk. O'Connell at his line across the red line, shoots it into Edmonton territory. Going after it is Mark. Oilers clear it around. There's a long shot wide from the point by O'Connell. Hawks keep it in. In behind the net clip, Coro all tied up by Price and the Oilers. Campbell took a shot from Marks, and Makita turns in the neutral zone. Across to Marks. Fires it into the corner. Colin Campbell takes over, fires it around the boards ahead for McDonald to Gretzky. Gretzky being pounded by O'Connell. The Oilers drag it in offside. With 17 minutes exactly left in the second period, the Hawks lead at 3-2.
Yeah, there's the young fellow that set up one of the Oiler goals, Callaghan, Kerr's goal. And this whole line, you know, they don't have much weight. They're about an average of 180 pounds, but they certainly know how to move the puck. And Glenn Say, their coach, said that that line had a tremendous training camp.
At Price shooting it into the Chicago zone. Esposito leaving it for Fox. To Marks. Being checked by Callaghan. Big jam along the boards. Marks comes up with it. Ahead to Cliff Cora. Skating after it on the right wing side. Goes in. Checked by Campbell. Shot in by O'Connell. And a whistle on the play, stopping action with 16:38 left in the second period. There's Blair McDonald. Came to the Oilers as a rookie for the Cornwall Royals. When was that? Back in 73-74, I believe. Went to Indianapolis for a year and a half. Rejoined the Oilers. And what a fixture he is on that line with Gretzky and Callaghan as you see them going to the bench.
Well, they've really moved that puck around. You know, always headman that puck to the open man. And, one thing, you know, all the teams are going to test them because they do not have that weight, you know, that weight behind them. So they're going to be taking a lot of hits before the year's out.
Oilers out at center ice. Lumley to Weir. Left wing pass to Hunter. The shot, and Esposito deflects it wide. Wilson to Ruskowski in his own zone. Ahead to Preston. Preston falls to the ice. Gets it to Ruskowski. Fires it rink wide for Bordelot. Goes to the side of the Oiler net. Kevin Lowe is there. To Hunter. At center, Lumley trying to go through the defense. Was checked by Murray. And Murray in his own zone, leading now to Ruskowski. Back to Murray. He has to turn back at center ice. Across, rink wide, the pass went for Wilson. Drug in by Preston. Checked in by Fogelin. Bordelot on the left wing side. Shooting it into the Oilers zone around the boards. Driving out of the net, leaving it for Kevin Lowe. Dangerously in front of his own net. Lost it to Bordelot, who centers. And back to the line it came to Murray. Fogelin tried to check in. And the Oilers recovered in behind the net. There you saw an example of a rookie mistake. And Ruskowski takes over. Rink wide to Wilson. To Murray. Checked by Lowe. Back it comes to Wilson. And the Blackhawks shoot it back in. Kevin Lowe in behind his net. Oilers trail 3-2. At center, Hunter shooting it into the corner. Going after it is Bill Flett. And Lysiak has it for the Hawks. Dropping it back. Rink wide to Higgins. In over the line was checked by Hicks. Into the corner, O'Connell. Down in behind the net. Looking for the man to set it. Has LeCure in the slot. Cleared away by Hicks and kicked out over the line by Chipperfield. Fox trying to play it back in. Lysiak does. And Siltanen goes after it. Siltanen ahead to Fleck. He was checked. And Siltanen recovers. Out to center ice. Trying to lead Chipperfield with a pass offside. This is Wednesday Night Hockey live from the Chicago Stadium.
Canada. It's a big country, so get the best from it.
Lysiak, acquired last season towards the end of the year by the Hawks in an 8-player trade with the Atlanta Flames. And they're glad to have him here. 14:37 remaining in the second period. The Hawks lead by 1. Lysiak almost checked to his blue line, gets it to LeCure. He's nudged off the puck by Bill Flett. Around the boards to Messier. Messier then was checked by Lysiak. And this is Siltanen ahead to Flett. Long lead pass for Chipperfield, broken up at the Chicago line by Higgins. Higgins then was checked, but got it to center. LeCure in with Lysiak. The shot, and Dryden kicks it out. Flett at center with the pass for Messier and an offside on the Oilers. Let's point out that Bobby Orr will join Vic Rauter between periods as one of our intermission guests tonight. Bobby Orr.
I've heard that name somewhere before. What a great competitor he was through all the years. Only those knee injuries and those operations, finally he had to give it up. But he will certainly be remembered as we watch time of Lysiak, who will also be with Tim Rauter, or Vic, rather.
Look forward to that one. From the face-off, Wilson off the boards for Kerr, goes into Oiler territory. Price chasing after it, touches it, icing against Chicago. They'll bring it all the way back.
There was Pat Price, the Oilers. He was a real good defenseman when he played for the Islanders. Doesn't really play that aggressively, but takes the man. Always takes that man out. He doesn't stick check. So he certainly is a great acquisition here for this hockey club.
Had a great junior career with the Saskatoon Blades, and then signed a big contract going into pro and didn't quite amount to what the pro scouts thought he would. There you see a guy that has amounted to quite a bit early in his pro career, Wayne Gretzky. Now Wilson off the boards. Coral playing it ahead to Stan Mikita. In over the line with Marks. Mikita putting on the brakes, gives it to Marks, side of the net. He centered it. There was not a Blackhawk in front. And Callaghan to Price. Leading the rush across his line. 13:36 left in the second period. Oilers get it in over the line. Price was checked at the blue line by Wilson. And then Campbell slashes at it. They fight for it along the boards. Gretzky brings it in on the left side. Gretzky decides to shoot, and Esposito down on the knees makes the save. Stan Mikita, the great veteran for the Chicago Blackhawks, leading the rush. Gives it to Murray, breaking in through Callaghan. The shot, it is wide of the net. Back to Wilson, his drive, and off a stick in front, high into the stands here in the Chicago Stadium, stopping play.
Good pressure there by the Blackhawks. Murray, he broke right through there, and there you see him sitting on the Blackhawk bench for a little breather. But, you know, most coaches, they'll tell you, and they'll stress it to their players, if a defenseman has a chance to go with that puck or head for that hole, you just go, and then one of the forwards will drop back and take his place. But that was a good example of it right there.
Ruskowski against Weir, face-off circle to the right of Dryden. Lee Fogelin with it behind his net, playing it ahead to Semenko. Out at center, this is Stan Weir in with Semenko. Offside Oilers. 12:58 left to play in the second period. And from the Chicago Stadium, this is your Molson Hockey telecast.
Hi, I'm Paul Hand to tell you about Frontier Ford, Edmonton's newest full-service Ford facility, now open in Mill Woods. Straight Western dealing is what we're all about. We want to sell you a new car or truck. And we've got the people and the prices that set us a breed apart. Right, guys?
Come see the good guys at Frontier Ford.
Face-off coming up outside the Chicago blue line. It's Ruskowski against Stan Weir again. From the draw, Ruskowski wins it, got it to Preston, back to Ruskowski. His lead pass for Preston. Chasing after it, Driscoll goes into the boards with Rich Preston. They kick for it. They'll try to hold it there. Now it comes loose. In behind the Oiler net is Ruskowski. Looking for the man, Bordelot, right in front. And Dryden was down. Bordelot couldn't handle the pass. Back to the line. The shot right in front again as McConnell let it go from the blue line. They jam Bordelot on the boards in the corner. Preston there. The puck pops loose. It's Ruskowski. Back to the line. Fox with the shot. Right in front. Ruskowski is there. Dryden is down. And they hold it. And a close call for the Oilers.
A lot of pressure put on by the Blackhawks there. Somehow Dryden kept it out of the net.
All right, we would like to promote the fact that Thursday nights you can see This Week in the NHL with Sarah Coyle and one of her guests will either be Larry Gordon, Glenn Sather, or Bruce McGregor, depending on who's in town at the time, and they'll look over the hockey highlights in the NHL from the week and talk Oilers. Should be an interesting program.
Here you're going to see the good work by the Blackhawks. There'll be a shot on net. Now watch the scramble. And Dryden. Oh, it's great to have that long reach, and he covers up.
Lysiak leaves the face-off circle to the left of Dryden. Stan Weir to face-off now with Reg Kerr. Second-year player. Hicks playing it ahead to Lumley. Trying to go in alone. Now shoots it to the corner. Hunter chasing after it. Esposito clears it away. Back to Weir. Into the corner to Hunter. He couldn't control it. Now Lumley. Gives it again to Dave Hunter. He's being checked by Lysiak. Comes back to Hicks at the blue line. Tries to center it for Lumley. He was all tied up in front by Wilson. To the corner it comes. The Oilers still in possession. Hunter. For Lumley. Lumley being watched by Murray. And all tied up along the boards. Lumley kicks it loose. Hunter has it. Waiting. Back off the boards for Lumley. Lumley. Back to the line. Silverman. The shot. And the save by Tony Esposito to a crowd. The Oilers showing a little bit of pizzazz.
Well, Hunter was right in the middle of all that good work by the Oilers. Good puck control. One thing that they did really well there was they didn't cough that puck up. Look for somebody to pass to. They hung right onto it. The only way they were going to lose it if a Blackhawks took it away from him. Sultan, he got a good shot away, but Esposito was there to close the door.
Dave Hunter, second-year Edmonton Oiler. 11:34 to go. Second period. Here's a chance. Cutting in is Kerr, and he couldn't control it. Then takes the hit from Hicks. Back to the line it comes. Wilson the drive. Dryden kicks it up. Weir clears it away. Lumley chopping at it along with Wilson. Comes to the corner. In behind the net for the Hawks. It's Grant Mulvey. Centers it. And no one there for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now Mulvey. Back in the corner. They jam for it. Lysiak comes in. Lysiak playing it ahead to Mulvey and behind the net. Tried to play it to the line. Intercepted by Lumley. It's Lumley with Hunter. In over the line. Weir is now in as well. And checked in front by Wilson was Lumley. Dave Hunter had it. The Oilers caught in a line change. There's a shot. And Esposito cleared it away. As a new defensive pairing was coming on, Price and Campbell, there was no one at the point on that occasion. Pat Price. 3-2. Blackhawks leading. Midway point of the second period. Shoots it in. Marks. Being watched by Flett. Gets it ahead to Mikita. Stan Mikita. In the neutral zone. Showing how to handle that puck as he drags it into Oiler territory. Pat Price. Now in control. Shoots it into Chicago territory. Into the corner it goes. Fox playing it over to O'Connell. and he then shoots it into the corner to the right of Dryden. Flett giving it to Price. Messier jamming it back to Campbell, and it goes all the way down into the Chicago zone. Back to touch it is Fox, icing on the Oilers. So with the score, Chicago 3, the Edmonton Oilers 2. Our telecast returns in a moment.
Techniques presents a first edition in high-fidelity sound systems. Techniques Micro Series, engineered with miniaturized technology, but with the power and performance of larger units. Build big sound with this DC power amplifier, FM/AM stereo tuner, and preamplifier. Techniques Micro Series, decorator designed to complement any setting. Start your first high-fidelity system with Techniques Micro Series, or make it your second, or make
9 minutes, 56 seconds remaining in the second period. Chicago leading at 3-2. 2 goals by Marks, 1 by Preston in the first period. Goals by Lowe and Hunter for the Oilers. No one has scored in this second period. Flett ahead to Chipperfield. He was checked by Fox, and Fox turns for the Hawks. Across to O'Connell. Into the corner. Flett going after it, along with Preston. Has played it behind the Oiler net for Campbell. He can't get to it. Messier now takes a hit from Ruskowski. They jam along the boards, draw the whistle, and halt play.
Well, this line for the Blackhawks, Ruskowski, Preston, and Bordelot, they have certainly caused a lot of problems for the Oilers tonight. And I think it's just the hard work that they've had out there, what they've applied to the Oilers. Very aggressive, good forechecking. As we look on, Messier playing the left side with Chipperfield and Flett. That Messier is going to be some hockey player, too, with a few years' experience.
From a face-off, a shot by Preston. He was all tied up by Price, and now in behind his net, Colin Campbell. Now starting out, Ruskowski forechecking. This is Messier bringing it in. Takes the wrist shot. Esposito falls on it and hangs on.
Good shot there, Tim. Messier showed a good burst of speed going down that wing, and let a good wrist shot go. Esposito had a little difficulty, but he came up with a save.
Old Tony Esposito came to new contract terms for the Hawks just prior to the regular season. He must be making the good money now, eh?
He deserves it.
Sure does.
He comes to play.
I'll never forget 15 shutouts in his rookie year with the Hawks. Of a face-off, Price going to the corner was checked by Marks. Oilers drag it around. This is Chipperfield. He was checked by Bordelot. Preston has it. Long shot. Dryden steering it away. Bill Flett now in his own zone. The lead pass for Chipperfield. Too far. Goes all the way back into the Chicago's territory. Touching it for the Blackhawks. Murray icing on the Oilers. And so we have a few whistles in rather quick fashion.
There's Murray heading for the right point on this next draw. Now Murray and Wilson, they play so well together. Both of them have the ability to move that puck. Good skaters.
It's Makita against Gretzky. Vogelin clears it out over his line. Wilson couldn't keep it in. This is Gretzky, 3-on-2. Has Callaghan and McDonald. Gretzky drives it almost through the plexiglass. And it's in behind the cage as they jam for it. Makita comes up with the puck. Ahead to Murray. 8:30 left in the second period. Stan Makita bringing it in. Looking, trying to set up Bordelot. And they jam along the board. And the Oilers come up with it. Gretzky bringing it in with Lee Fogelin. Dropped it back, intercepted in front of the net by Marks, and Marks begins to rush it. 3-on-2. Cliff Coral has Makita on the opposite wing. The shot, and Dryden making the save with the pads with 8:08 left in this period.
Okay, good pressure by the Blackhawks, and we have some out-of-town scores. Pittsburgh leads Winnipeg 2-0. In Toronto, the Rangers and the Maple Leafs are tied at 2, and Atlanta leads Quebec 1-0.
No idea at what point of those games those are, eh?
All second-period scores.
All right. Face-off coming up to Dryden's left, Makita with Coral and Marks. Murray and Wilson on defense. For the Oilers, this is Callaghan with Gretzky and McDonald. It's shot in. McDonald chasing after it. Goes to the corner with Makita, and Doug Wilson comes up with it. Gretzky skating over in that direction, but the puck coming to Murray now, trying to cross it over the line. He overskates it. Makita's there, picks it up, has one man to beat. Callaghan turns, and was almost checked by Callaghan, but now centers it. Fogelin off the boards. It comes to center ice. Murray for the Hawks. Hawks lead at 3-2. Big Brent Mulvey back in his own zone. Ahead then to Wilson. Rink wide to Murray. Shooting it into the corner. And Dryden steering it in behind his net. Lee Fogelin takes over. To Callaghan. Long lead pass from McDonald. Too far. Goes in behind the Chicago net. And hits touch there. They'll bring it all the way back with 7:14 left. Live from the Chicago Stadium, this is your Molson Hockey telecast.
A reporter's life isn't all glamour.
You don't get an office? I get a desk and a file cabinet, one drawer. Do they, like, pay for the clothes that you wear to work and stuff? Oh, no. They barely pay for the typewriter ribbons.
Watch Lou Grant Sundays at 7 on ITV, Channel 13, Cable 8.
Feeling good with 630 CHED.
Face-off coming up to the left of Dryden. Stay tuned for our post-game show after the third period tonight. We call it Overtime. Gary Dornhofer, Kerry Jones from the Edmonton Journal will question Coach Glenn Sather of the Oilers. Should be interesting. That's in Overtime, our post-game show here tonight. Mulvey jamming it right to the side of the net. Curly shot, loose puck, and Dryden has it in. Well, it's got to be very close to that goal line.
Well, that's a play by the goalie. You know, when the Blackhawk player snuck around the net there, it's very important that Dryden has his skate against the post, because we've seen a lot of goals scored that way, where they leave that little opening and they just tuck it home.
Lysiak against Stan Weir. A couple of former junior teammates in Medicine Hat a few years ago, squaring off the circle to the left of Dryden. Oilers. Hicks bringing it out on the left wing, shooting it in. 6:56 left, second period. Fox for the Blackhawks. Leading the rush, shooting it in. Mulvey chasing after it. Dave Hunter goes in behind his net, chops at it, gets it ahead to Lumley. Lumley getting around Lysiak, and then couldn't control it. Shot back in by O'Connell. Reg Curl on the board, playing it in behind the net. Lumley now for the Oilers, trying to drop it back for Siltanen. Blackhawks, Lysiak to the side of the net, having trouble controlling it, being watched by Risto Siltanen. Now Stan Weir goes to the boards, and Lumley pokes it out to center ice. A 2-on-1 for the Oilers. This is Hunter, and his shot deflected away by O'Connell, Mike O'Connell, who is the lone Blackhawk back. This is Reg Kerr now on the left wing, his shot. And it goes in behind the net, Lumley jamming it ahead. Dave Hunter played a good hockey game, shooting it into Chicago territory. Wilson picks it up off the board, playing it ahead to Mulvey. This is Mulvey. His pass back for Lysiak, poked into the Oilers zone. Cowboy Flett now with it for the Oilers. Has Messier streaking in on the left side. Messier to the corner. He'll try to center it. Now just jams it in behind the net. Fleck centers it. Cleared away by Wilson. Raskowski fighting along the boards for it. Oilers come up with it. Then it's kicked out to center ice by Wilson. We have a penalty coming up for the Edmonton Oilers. This is NHL Wednesday Night Hockey.
I like the idea of mystery. I love elusive people. I dislike very much familiarity. I think it can be a mistake. But what I really love is intimacy. How you created it to a woman's pleasure. Like Chanel No. 5, bath powder and spray cologne.
5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining to be played in the second period. Pat Price in the penalty box for the Oilers, and the Hawks with a man advantage. Face-off inside the Oilers zone. It's deflected up over the glass as Murray took the shot to the point. Who else is up there for Chicago? Makita, Lysiak, Raskowski, Murray, and Wilson. For the Oilers, Blair McDonald, Lee Fogelin, Callaghan, and Colin Campbell.
There you see Price haul him down, and he might have been able to let him get away there because they had another man back.
This is Wilson at the left point, giving it to Ruskowski, head of the circle, Price at center. Here's Lysiak jamming it back from Makita, and it was kicked away by Colin Campbell. Slashing penalty coming up now. And it's going to be against the Edmonton Oilers. There'll be 2 men short. Colin Campbell making his way over to the penalty box.
Well, that's going to hurt. And Campbell, he better get in the box and not say another word. He's going there now. Now, that's a tough play, you know, when you're a man short and you get another penalty tacked on top of it. The Blackhawks are going to enjoy a 2-minute advantage for 1 minute and 45 seconds. They will certainly have their work cut out for them now.
Right you are, Gary. 26 Pat Price with 1 minute 45 left in his penalty. And now Colin Campbell joining.
There you saw it, the slash there, and Glenn Sather looks on, and I'm sure that he realizes a very big part of the hockey game.
Comes out over the Oiler blue line. Blackhawks with a 2-man advantage. 4 minutes 37 seconds. This is Murray. Going into the corner, trying to cut around. Hicks goes in behind the net. Was checked by Foegele. Makita. Back to Lysiak. Winding up. Batting high over the glass. And that will stop play with 4:55 remaining in the second period.
Oh, Lysiak, he teed one up there on the top of the circle, and it looked like Dryden got a piece of it and deflected into the stands. Here you're going to see Lysiak get it, let that slap shot go, and yeah, it looked like it got the glove in the crossbar and up in the stands. Big face-off coming up.
To the left of Dryden. Comes back to Wilson. His shot quickly just wide of the open side. Back to Murray. Murray closing in. Gives it to Wilson. Back to Lysiak. Intercepted by Blair McDonald. And McDonald brings it out to the neutral zone. Just trying to kill some time. Jams it into a corner. 1 minute and 6 seconds left in Pat Price's penalty. 1 minute and 18 seconds remaining in the penalty to Colin Campbell. In over the line. This is Murray. Head of the slot. He shoots. He scores!
Now that's why Murray's out there, because he can shoot that puck. And he really let one go. This looked good. That one is really moving, and Dryden did get a glove on it, but it trickled behind him. And power play goal for the Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks have a 2-goal lead now, and they're still a man short for another 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Still in the penalty box for the Oilers, Colin Campbell. Blackhawks ahead 4-2. Makita playing it in for Wilson, going to the corner, jamming it back to the line, and it comes up to the neutral area. Murray. Boy, the fans are wound up here in Chicago tonight. At the line, Hunter kicking for it. Now Murray closing in, centering it. Just wide of the net. Jammed at by Wilson. He couldn't find the range. Ruskowski in behind. Trying to play it in front. It went off low skate, and the Oilers cleared it up the center ice. Wilson dragging it back in has Stan Makita. And Makita just gave it away to Stan Weir. Chasing after it is Dave Hunter. Ruskowski goes down, takes Hunter with him. Hunter's back up on his feet, trying to walk around Esposito. And a tremendous defensive play by Fox. Greg Fox. Oilers, Foegele, shooting it around behind the net. And now Marks. Make that Fox playing it ahead to Marks at center ice. They hold it along the boards. Chipperfield and Fox. So at 3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining to be played in the second period. The score, Chicago 4, Edmonton 2.
If you're still in the dark about lighter tasting beers, here's a suggestion. New Crown Lager. New Crown is the first 3.9 alcohol beer with 29 calories per 100 grams. That's about 98 calories per bottle. So if you're looking for real beer taste and 29 calories per 100 grams, it's New Crown. New Crown, the lighter lager, still a nickel less a bottle.
Oilers Oilers back at full strength. The penalty to Colin Campbell has expired, but the Hawks got one power play goal out of that. They lead it 4-2. In the neutral zone, Chipperfield bringing it in, giving it to Messier. To the corner he goes, takes the hit from Coral. They jam for it. And now O'Connell feeds it down the ice. Colin Campbell chasing after it for the Oilers, being watched by Marks in behind the net. Campbell gets away from Marks. Marks lost his stick. Flett jamming for it, playing it ahead too far for Chipperfield. O'Connell across the red line into Oilers territory. His shot, and Clyde makes the save and covers up with 2:33 to play.
Well, the Blackhawks have certainly picked up the pace in this second period, and they have the edge in the play, and mainly they have just played so aggressively and forced the Oilers into some mistakes in their own zone. And unfortunately for the Oilers, they just haven't been able to generate any kind of attack in the Blackhawks zone. The Dryden there had to come up big several times there to prevent any further scoring.
Keep in mind, next Wednesday night on ITV, 6 o'clock Edmonton time, the Minnesota North Stars and Toronto Maple Leafs live from Maple Leaf Gardens. 4-2, the Blackhawks lead it. Bob Murray, a power play goal here in the second period. The only scorer in this frame. Callaghan for Hicks. Ahead to Blair McDonald, watched by Marks. Plays it out to center ice. Gretzky up now for the Oilers. And at center, it's Mikita. Stan Mikita in over the line. Being watched by Hicks. Drops it back to Marks. He was checked by Gretzky. Gretzky overskates it. Mikita keeping it in. Coral back to Mikita. Back in the corner for Coral. He's tied up by Risto Siltanen. Marks comes up with it. Back to the line to O'Connell. Flips it through the slot. And it went into the corner aimlessly. McDonald, long lead pass for Callaghan. He was checked. Cliff Coral bringing it back into Edmonton territory. Watched by Hicks. They go in behind the net. Coral all tied up by Hicks. It's jammed loose. Gretzky kicking for it. Is there, along with Rich Preston. Preston now with the puck. Trying to work it in front for Mikita. Does so. Mikita's there, all tied up by Pat Price to make that Gretzky. A brilliant defensive play by Gretzky to tie up Mikita in front. Now the lead pass. Callaghan firing it in the corner. And Fox brings it out to center. Intercepted by McDonald to Gretzky. Checked by O'Connell. And it's played ahead at center ice. Mikita from Preston. Mikita trying to set up Bordelot. And Kevin Lowe breaks up the play. Blair McDonald into the line. We're into the last minute of the second period. 4-2 Blackhawks. They go along the boards. They're trying to get the whistle. They don't. They kick for it and finally get the whistle with 48 seconds to play in the second period.
Well, you know, when you talk about checking a man, the Blackhawks, one thing that they have done so well tonight, they always seem to be getting in front of the Oiler players. You know, you don't have to hit them hard against the boards or put them in the first row of seats. Just get in front of a player and nudge him out. And the Blackhawks have certainly done this much better than the Oilers tonight.
There's a look at McDonald, Gretzky, and Callaghan. Glenn say they're discussing something with them. Wilson. Ahead to J.P. Bordelot. Intercepted by Lumley. He was then checked by Ruskowski. Got it into Bordelot. He lost it to Lowe. Lowe in behind his net and getting away from Bordelot. Ahead to Stan Weir with Hunter on the left side. Weir, the shot! And it was deflected high over top of the net. Preston to Ruskowski. He lost it. Comes to the side of the Chicago net. Stan Weir trying to center it for Lumley. He was checked by Wilson. And they'll hold it there for the faceoff. With 13 seconds to be played in the second period. Faceoff coming up to the right of Tony Esposito. 4-2 Blackhawks lead.
Well, big face-off coming up here. Plenty of time for a shot. And, you know, teams, that's the last thing you want to do is get a goal scored against you in the last couple minutes of play. And, you know, if the Oilers do get one right here, what a boost of confidence it will help them going in that third period. But let's wait and see.
We're facing off with Ruskowski. Ruskowski wins the draw. Doug Wilson with now 7 seconds remaining to be played in the second period. Drags it in over the line. J.P. Bordelot lost it to Lumley. And the buzzer goes to end the second period of play. One goal scored, and that was Murray, Bob Murray.
Now they had two-man advantage there. A good hard shot that Dryden got a piece of, but well, for you baseball fans, with that rained-out game yesterday, they're right back at it tonight. And I guess Baltimore is favored to take that series.
Well, they've got the strong pitching, don't they? They've got some good hitting. Pirates rely a lot on the relief pitching, speed on the bases, defense, and hitting, of course.
But here we are in Chicago Stadium as we look at Esposito and Dryden all set to go, Tim.
Third period underway. 4-2, Blackhawks lead it. In behind the Hawk net it goes. And it's now Wilson. Ahead to Ruskowski. Right wing pass to J.P. Bortolo, cutting right in. And a nice defensive play by Lowe. The shot wide of the net by Ruskowski. Murray off the boards and behind the net with it. Bortolo trying to center it. A bounce off Weir's skate right on the net, but Dryden was quick to clear it away. And all the way down the ice it comes. Esposito leaves it for Murray. Almost intercepted by Weir. J.P. Bortolo. His pass intercepted by Hunter. Shoots it back in. Murray fires it off Lumley. Preston goes to the boards. Jamming there with Fogelin. Gets it to Corlin behind the net. He's hit by Kevin Lowe. To the side of the net. Jammed right through the crease by Stan Mikita. And the Oilers. Callaghan getting away from the forechecking of Mikita. Callaghan bringing it across the line. Into the corner. Esposito way out of the net. Cliff Coral along the boards. Handing it to O'Connell. Gretzky fell in the corner. And O'Connell brings it away. Shoots it to the corner. Callaghan goes after it. Almost goes line. In behind the net. Bortolo trying to center it out in front. And the Oilers bring it back. This is Gretzky. In over the line. Takes the shot. Over to Callaghan. Into the corner with O'Connell. Callaghan takes the hit. And the Hawks bring it away. Cliff Coral. Shooting it into Edmonton territory right on Dryden. And Price recovers. At Price. Bringing it out over his line. Missed a hip check from Wysiak. Shooting it in. Esposito out of the net. Leaving it there for Fox. And Fox. To Marks. Across his own line with Wysiak on the left side. Across to Mulvey. Goes to the corner with Callaghan. Callaghan hits Mulvey into the boards. And Colin Campbell jams for him with Wysiak. Now they kick it loose. This is Wysiak to the side of the net. Centering it in front for Reg Kerr. And it was intercepted on the play by the Oilers. At Price. Shooting it up the center ice. And Fox. Handing it away to Gretzky with McDonald. Gretzky. Here giving it to Mark Messier. And he shot it wide of the net. Kerr. Bringing it back to the Blackhawks with Wysiak. Forced in along the boards by Campbell. In behind goes Mulvey. They're starting to lay on the mustard. For the Oilers, Risto Sultanen lead pass to Chipperfield. Out to the side of the net. Esposito plays it off the glass. Kerr ahead to Lysiak. Lysiak. In over the Oiler line. One man back in a nice defensive play by Hicks. Bill Flett poking for it along the board. Now Chipperfield gets it loose. With Messier. Chipperfield offside Oilers. This is NHL hockey live from the Chicago Stadium.
The concert sound of Henry Mancini comes to Edmonton Wednesday, October 17th. Joining Henry will be special guests Diane Carroll and Peter Nero. Don't miss Henry Mancini and the ITV Concert Orchestra Wednesday, October 17th, 8:15 p.m. at the Jubilee Auditorium. Tickets available at all Bass outlets, The Bay, Farley Mohawk, and Mike's.
Wednesday, they're looking on as the Oilers hope to get back into this one. They trail by 2, 4-2. Face off outside the Blackhawk line. Murray to Wilson. Wilson has been on for the majority of time in this hockey game. Stealing it in behind the Oiler net. Bortolo centering it, and Murray couldn't get his stick on. Semenko takes over in his own zone. To Chipperfield. Across his own line. Then was checked from behind by J.P. Bortolo. Bortolo back to Murray. Shoots it in. Bounces off the boards to Dryden, and he hangs on, stopping play with 16:27 to go in the third period.
All right, we have an update on the scores in the National Hockey League. In the third period, Atlanta 4, Quebec nothing. A final, Pittsburgh 4, Winnipeg 2. And in the third period, it's Toronto 4, the Rangers 3.
All right. Quebec Nordique having their trouble against the Flames tonight. Stolen in front of the net. The backhand shot knocked away by Briscoe Silverton. Now Ruskowski centering it for Preston. He lost it on his skate. And the lead pass at center for Chipperfield from Semenko went astray. This is Chipperfield. Ran into J.P. Bordelot. Ruskowski in over the line, handing it back, trying to stick handle to it. Murray the shot, and Dryden with a good save as Bob Murray showed a fine burst of speed for the rushing defenseman.
Again, the Blackhawks do so much of that. You know, if the defensemen have a chance to get into play, away they go. And Ruskowski, what a great back pass he makes there. And great scoring chance, but Dryden, again, the big save to keep the Edmonton Oilers only 2 goals behind.
Well, Terry Ruskowski has proven tonight that he belongs in this league.
You know, I'm sure Glenn Sather has told his men between the second and third period that we've got to get more penetration in the Chicago zone. And the idea is to dump it in when your wingers are at full speed so they have a chance of getting a hold of that puck.
Weir beat Lysiak on the face-off. Lumley laying it ahead to Weir. Out at center ice, a back pass for Fogelin. Offside on the Oilers. They'll bring it outside the Chicago Blackhawk blue line. Fogelin, acquired by the Oilers. Buffalo Sabres left him unprotected in the expansion draft, so the Oilers grabbed him up.
Well, he's very happy to be in Edmonton. It's a new start, a new team, and he's very enthusiastic about getting involved with this hockey club.
Face-off, Weir beat Lysiak again. And Fogelin behind his net, being watched by Grant Mulvey. Being tied up by Mulvey behind the Oilers. And Mulvey steals the puck and then plays it across to the corner. Lysiak there with Lumley. And it comes loose to Fogelin, to Weir. Has Hunter on the left wing side. In over the line with Hunter. The lead pass into the corner. Hunter tried to jam it in front. Cleared away by Murray. Ahead to Kerr. On the left wing side. Kerr in over the line. Ran into Dave Lumley. Lost his stick. And Kevin Lowe. Left wing pass to Hunter. Back to Lowe. Trying to get it back to Stan Weir. Intercepted by a Tom Lysiak and backhanded down the ice. Oilers having difficulty getting it out of their own zone. Hunter off the boards into the neutral zone of the puck. And a shot back in by Murray. With Price. Now at center ice. Messier to Fleck. Fleck trying to get around Fox in behind the net. Centers it. Here's an opportunity for Price. They shot it. Esposito makes a great save. John March bringing it back with Makita. In over the early line. And he was checked on the play by Colin Campbell. Bill Fleck taking the pass on the right wing side. In over the line. Takes the shot. Esposito cut off the angle. March missed the check from Driscoll. Driscoll centering. And it comes back to the right point. Kept in by Pat Price. To Driscoll. Goes around the boards. And Cliff Corral takes over for the Blackhawks with 14-11 left in the game. Corral flipping it into the corner. Price. To Driscoll. He was checked at his own line by Ruskowski. Colin Campbell picks it up. Goes in behind his net. Ruskowski aggressively tying up Campbell. And Messier takes over. Messier in front of his own net. Now pops it in behind for Price. J.P. Bordelot. There's a 5-second Ruskowski running into Price in behind the net. And now sticks there up, tempers flare, and a crowd gather in that area.
Well, Ruskowski has certainly been a thorn in the Oilers' behind tonight. He has played some aggressive hockey game tonight, and I think the fans here are certainly getting the spirit of things.
The score, Chicago 4, the Edmonton Oilers 2. This is your Molson Hockey Telecast.
When man invented the wheel, he soon realized that wheels have an enemy. The enemy is winter. So to cope with winter, man invented the Uniroyal steel-belted radial snow tire. On ice and snow, Uniroyal M&S Plus steel radials have proven they can turn the trick in man's annual contest with winter. Humor oil, from the first man, the last word in steel-belted radial snow tires.
There's Wayne Gretzky awaiting the face-off. Coming up to the left of Dryden. There were no penalties called after that flare-up of tempers in Oiler territory. Here's a drive by Murray, and it went wide of the net. McDonald getting it loose across his line. The pass for Gretzky went through his skates. Gretzky going after the corner, falls to the ice as Doug Wilson is going to be penalized. And the Oilers, with 13:29 to go, will have a man advantage.
Well, the Blackhawks have certainly taken their shots at Gretzky tonight and have tried to hit him every chance they have had. And here you're going to see the contact here, a little grabbing in the second, actually pulling him down. But one thing about Gretzky, he just bounces right up again, ready to play. Well, you know, if you're looking for an opportunity for Edmonton to get back in the game, it's right here. And again, the key is getting Gretzky with that puck, working it from the corners for him to set up the play.
Hawks lead at 4-2. Doug Wilson in the penalty box. And a face-off coming up to the left of Tony Esposito. For the Oilers, it's Gretzky, McDonald, Fogelin, Callaghan, and Lowe. For Chicago, John Marks, along with O'Connell, Cliff Corral, and Fox. McDonald and Gretzky. In over the line. Puts the moves on O'Connell. Gets it over to Callaghan. Callaghan in the corner. Back to Kevin Lowe. To Fogelin. Winding up. Nice shot. Just wide of the net. Back it comes to Kevin Lowe. Feeding it back to the line of Fogelin. It comes. His shot again. Just wide of the net. Back it comes to Lowe again. To Callaghan. Callaghan in the circle to the right of Tony Esposito. Still with it. Gave it to McDonald. It's checked away, and Cliff Corral fires it down the ice. A minute 14 seconds remaining in the penalty to Wilson. As Kevin Lowe handing off to Gretzky. Out to center with McDonald and Callaghan. Gretzky feeding Callaghan. Goes to the corner. Plays it around the board for McDonald. And it comes out over the line as Pat Price was coming in off the bench and hadn't made it to the right point yet. Now Price brings it in. Over to Gretzky. Gretzky to the side of the net to McDonald. A shot! And he missed the rebound as Esposito kicked it up. At Price, feeding it back in. It bounced off Callaghan's skate wide of the net. Gretzky, 36 seconds left in the penalty. And the Hawks clear it out to the neutral zone. J.P. Bordelot. At Price off the board. And Price will now lead the rush. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Stan Weir now in on the right side. Back to the line to Siltanen. Couldn't control it. At Price. Feeding it across to Lumley. Back to Siltanen. 9 seconds left in the penalty. Lumley. Back to the line to Price. He waits. Winds up with a shot. Knocked down in front by Weir. The penalty has 1 second remaining, and Weir's shot deflected away by Reg Kerr. The penalty has expired. Oilers keep it in. Dave Lumley going to the corner. Esposito there with a stick, clearing it away to the boards, and the fans are going wild here in Chicago. Here's Lumley. Back to Price. And he broke his stick as he was winding up the shoot. And it's cleared all the way down the ice with 11 minutes and 10 seconds to be played in the hockey game. Dave Lumley in over the Chicago line, winding up, and a whistle goes, stopping play. Live from Chicago, this is Tim Dancy with Gary Dornhofer.
Hi. You know, there's only one right way to play golf, and that's the way that's right for you. You learn by trying. Same goes for beer. Here's the one that's right for me. New Crown. The only 3.9 alcohol beer with 98 calories a bottle. And for my money, the only one with a great beer taste. New Crown. It may be what you've been looking for.
There we see Eddie Johnson behind the bench. First-year coach with the National Hockey League Chicago Blackhawks. And one big thing that he wanted to do this year is get some togetherness with this hockey club.
Fogelin at center ice. Giving it to Chipperfield. Chipperfield losing it. This is LeCure shooting it into the Edmonton zone. Kevin Lowe going after it. being watched, and Lowe still with it. Ahead to Fogelin, out over his line to center. Fogelin's lead pass offside. Semenko was in a couple of strides ahead of the play. Coming up in the postgame, you'll see three-star selection. The Molson 3 stars.
Semenko, he hasn't had much opportunity to play tonight, but he's out there now with Chipperfield and Flett on that line. Add a little muscle to that side.
From the face-off, this is Fogelin. Across to Kevin Lowe. A long shot off the glass in behind the net. And a whistle on the play. They'll bring it back out into the neutral zone. The face-off will take place near the red line. 10 minutes, 39 seconds remaining in the third period. There's Bill Flett. Came to camp this year in the best condition he's been in several seasons. One back at job here with the Oilers. On the face-off. Esposito out of the net, playing it ahead to Doug Wilson. Across to Murray. To the neutral zone, shooting it into the Oilers' territory. Off the boards it comes. Lecure whacking at it with Fogelin. Cowboy Flett playing it behind his net. This is Semenko. Jamming it to the side of his own cage, bounced off escape to the other corner. Now Lecure lets the drive go off the glass. Dave Semenko ahead to Chipperfield. Chipperfield tried to shoot it in. It was kept up by the Hawks. Bill Flett has it at the line. Gave it to Semenko. He couldn't control the pass. And it goes off the linesman up into the stands. Stopping play.
Well, you know, with that Molson Cup three-star selection, Tim, you know, I have, looking at this team tonight, I see some guys that certainly have a chance to win, you know, Chipperfield, Gretzky. But I'm gonna take the young kid, Gretzky. I really think that he's going to do something this year. How about you?
I think I'll agree with you. Wayne Gretzky is a very fine hockey player, continues to improve every time out. Oilers bring it in. McDonald is shot. Went to the corner. Ruskowski goes down. Hisses to the side of the net. Driscoll centering it. No one there for the Oilers. And the Blackhawks recover. O'Connell to Ruskowski. Bordelot bringing it in the right side was checked by Hicks. Risto Sultanen clearing away from in front. Here's a shot by O'Connell. There's cut right in front. And Preston tried to jam at it, but he was off balance, and now Blair McDonald comes up with it. Ahead to Messier. In over the line. And Messier was looking for McDonald on the right wing. He was not there. All on the right wing boards, they jam for it. And draw the whistle. This is Edmonton Oiler hockey as they play the Chicago Blackhawks.
Pontiac Buick GMC, Spruce Grove, the going concern.
Look at some of the fans taking in the action here at the stadium tonight. As Hicks from the line takes the shot, is deflected wide. Now Driscoll lets the drive go off the glass. In behind the net, down to the corner, they dig for it. The whole crowd comes in. Siltonen along the board, back into the corner. Down goes McDonald. As Messier jams in behind the net, the Hawk fans go wild. There's a stoppage in play.
Well, looks like we're going to have a penalty. Ruskowski, he was working over McDonald on that play. And he's going to draw a penalty.
With the score, the Chicago Blackhawks 4, the Edmonton Oilers 2. Our telecast returns in a moment.
Automatic four-wheel drive takes the AMC Eagle where ordinary automobiles fear to tread. Watch the Eagle's automatic four-wheel drive win a traction tug-of-war against front-wheel drive. Watch again as the AMC Eagle rescues an expensive import stuck in a mudslide. American Motors introduces the extraordinary new family compact that gets you where you want to go. The AMC Eagle. The Eagle has landed on all fours at American Motors.
Well, they do not have overtime in the National Hockey League, but we at ITV have overtime. The post-game show on all of our hockey telecasts. And tonight, stay tuned as Terry Jones from the Edmonton Journal and our own Gary Dornhofer discuss the topic of the day with Coach Glenn Sather of the Oilers. That's coming up right after the play-by-play portion of tonight's telecast. Bob Murray firing it around the boards. Gretzky able to keep it into the left point, but got it over to Hunter. Back to Fogelin. 8:50 left to be played in this hockey game. Gretzky going in behind his net. Oilers trail 4-2. Hunter dropping it back to Stan Weir. Terry Ruskowski is in the penalty box. The Oilers have the man advantage. Fogelin to the corner, centering it in front, and it was cleared away by Murray. Hawks bring it back. Cora pass to Marks on the left wing side. Back to Cora. He couldn't control the pass. Dave Lumley clearing it in front of his net across to Fogelin. Wayne Gretzky out at center, shooting it into Chicago territory. Esposito out of the cage once again, kept into the left point. Gretzky fakes a shot, now winds up. Esposito makes the save, loose puck to the side of the net, it's cleared away. And up into the Blackhawk bench.
Good pressure there by the Oilers, but just can't penetrate Esposito. And we have another final score here from Toronto. The Rangers exploded to a 6-3 win over the Maple Leafs.
Freddie Shiro's Rangers doing the job tonight.
Well, Freddie, he'll be there again. And, of course, the players, after being in the finals next year, will also, they got a taste of it. They'll be back.
Face-off outside the Chicago line. Wilson clearing it out to center. Coro feeds it back into the Edmonton zone. Dryden out of the net. And leaves it for Pat Price. 50 seconds left in Ruskowski's penalty. Oilers with the power play. Chipperfield across the red line. Now in with McDonald. Drops it off. Here's Blair McDonald with a clear shot, and Esposito made the save with Callaghan cruising in front. Here's McDonald again. Now to Price. Price waits. Over to McDonald. Back to Pat Price. He winds up, and John Marks got a skate on it, and it deflects all the way back into the Edmonton zone. 18 seconds left in Ruskowski's fourth penalty of the hockey game. Gretzky leading the rush, lost control of it at the Chicago line. Price keeping it in, avoided the check from Bordelot. Now feeds it into the head of the slot. It was cleared away by the Hawks. Price again. The penalty has expired. The Chicago Blackhawks have again effectively killed a penalty. Pat Price tripped and lost it in front of his net. Dryden had to clear it. Ruskowski is up forechecking. And Price centering. Kevin Lowe out to center ice. They go to the corner. Reg Kerr is there. Off the boards ahead to J.P. Bordelot. Has Ruskowski on this left side. Gives it to Reg Kerr. Kerr, head of the circle to the left of Dryden. And the Oilers take over. McDonald playing it ahead to Chipperfield. Elects the long shot. Esposito easily gloved it. And here come the Hawks. Ruskowski, right wing side. O'Connell, back to Ruskowski, to O'Connell, and he couldn't control the pass. Ruskowski in behind the net. Was checked by Lowe, then recovered, centered by O'Connell. And the Oilers back with Price. To Messier, to Bill Fleck. His shot deflected off the glass wide by Fox. Murray cannot clear it out of his zone, kept in by Lowe. His shot deflected wide by Fox. Fox in behind the net. This is Lysiak, 2-on-2 with LeCure. Back to Lysiak. His shot deflected by Kevin Lowe. And now in the corner, coming up with it for the Oilers. Mark Messier across the red line. In over the Chicago line. Back to Driscoll. His shot wide of the cage. Now chopping at it was Fogelin on the right wing boards. It comes and then cleared back into Edmonton territory. 5:20 left. Hawks lead at 4-2. Driscoll taking the shot from center ice, and John Marks with it. Big wash by Weir, got it to Lysiak. Siltanen checked him. Bob Murray to Wilson, ahead to Marks. Failed to get it in over the Oiler line, and Hicks made the play. Stan Weir turning in his own zone. Ahead to Hicks, he couldn't control the pass. It was too far for him. Murray off the board. At center ice, Lumley recovers, gives it to Siltanen. To Hicks. Hicks plays it to the corner. John Marks behind his net, being watched by Lumley. Now Dave Hunter is there along the boards at Cliff Coral. They hold it, stopping play, a face-off coming up in Chicago territory. With 4 minutes, 36 seconds left in the game. The score, the Chicago Blackhawks 4, the Edmonton Oilers 2.
Head on north to Northland Lincoln Mercury. We're eager to show you our full line of Mercuries, Bobcat, Zephyr, Monarch, Marquis, Cougar, and of course, the luxurious Lincoln Continental. Truckers, we run half our business just for you. We have truck selection right up to those hard-hauling, heavy-duty 16-wheelers. And our truck service department is built to handle the biggest jobs. So meet the new folks in town. Head north to Northland Lincoln Mercury, 128th Avenue and 50th Street.
Glenn Sather, looking at the clock, 4:36 left to go. He'll be joining Terry Jones and Gary Dornhofer in our studios here at the Chicago Stadium and our post-game show, Overtime. Hicks with a shot from the left point. Into the corner, Callaghan. Bouncing with Buchanan. Back to the line it comes. Winding up at Siltman. The save by Esposito. Down goes Callaghan. He tried to take the shot on one knee. In the corner, Gretzky trying to center it out in front. Has possession. Gives it to Callaghan. He was checked by O'Connor. Blair McDonald. He lost it to John Marks. And Fox clears it around the boards for Cliff Coral. And he shoots it into Edmonton territory. 4:07 left in the hockey game.
Well, the Oilers knew that they had to come out, that they had to come out in this period and apply some pressure, and they certainly have done that. They have had some excellent scoring chances, but Esposito has come up with a big save. A much better job of forechecking by Edmonton. Every player in there is just going gung-ho in the corners. The first man, very important to take that man. The second man, grab that puck and then find that open man, and they have done that.
Again, a reminder, next Wednesday night on ITV, Minnesota North Stars at Toronto, and a week from next Wednesday, 2 weeks from tonight, Edmonton at New York Rangers, and we'll have that one for you. At Price feeding it into Chicago territory. Esposito way out of the net. Ruskowski giving it to J.P. Bordelot, trying to get in around Colin Campbell, and Dryden cleared it away. To the boards they go. Chipperfield is there along with Ruskowski and others. They hold it for the face-off, which will be coming up to the right of Dave Dryden.
Well, right now, the time clock up there with 3:39 is the Edmonton's worst enemy, and gradually running out of time here tonight as we see Bordelot heading into the face-off spot.
J.P. Bordelot, pretty good forechecking forward. Just a little guy. At Price behind his net, giving it to Chipperfield. Has Semenko on the left side, Bill Flett on the right. Chipperfield brings it in. Semenko's offside. 3:30 left to play in this game. Oilers trail by 2.
Well, we'll be watching Glenn Sather if he decides to pull Dryden out of the net there for that extra attacker. And don't forget, there's also that 30-second timeout that they're allowed.
On the face-off, Fox. Ahead to Rich Preston. On the left wing side, being checked by Price. Goes to the ice. Price will be penalized. And the Hawks will have the man advantage.
Those are the type of penalties that, you just have to refrain from taking, especially when you're 2 goals down with only 3 minutes left to go in the game. And I know Price, he feels pretty bad about it. And here you're going to see it again where Preston has a couple steps on him, and Price gets the stick up a little high and hauls him down. And, of course, Bob Myers standing right there watching that. Here we see it again.
Preston almost lost an ear on that one, didn't he?
And, of course, Chicago, they're sending out that power play unit, and they could ice the game away with another goal.
Face-off coming up to Dryden's right for the Blackhawks. Marks has scored twice. Preston once. Murray once. For the Oilers, Lowe and Hunter. All the Oilers scoring coming in the first period. And the Hawks with a man advantage. Lysiak. Mulvey. Reg Kerr. Here's a chance for Blair McDonald. 2-on-1 with Callaghan. They shot at Esposito with a fine save as Callaghan was cruising for the rebound. Back come the Hawks. Lysiak. Offside Chicago.
Oh, what a great play there by Blair McDonald. He broke away in that 2-on-1 break, and, it was a good play by McDonald kept getting closer and closer, and he really couldn't pass the puck because of the stick that was laying across the ice. There you see, and now Esposito comes up with that save. He goes down on all fours, and you know, he's been a very big part in the Blackhawks for their team tonight. He's come up with those good saves, keeping him in the game.
Espo's been almost invincible. Wilson trying to clear it in front. Fogelin takes over for the Oilers. Being watched by Mulvey. This is Lysiak with Reggie Kerr right in front of the net, and Dryden robbed him from the short side. Kerr back to Murray. His shot deflected wide of the net. As the Hawks pour it on. 1:23 left in the penalty to Pat Price. 2:40 left in the hockey game. There's another drive as Dryden makes the save without his stick. Wilson was the man that let it go. Wilson keeping it into the left point. Dryden is still without the stick. Here's Murray the shot. And a nice defensive play by Fogelin. Actually, Mulvey was down in front. And there is a penalty coming up. It's going to be to the Edmonton Oilers. Lysiak in the corner. Giving it to Reggie Kerr. And now a play placed out in front of the Oiler net. Waskowski is there. Several players are involved. You can almost feel that coming.
Well, you can't mess around with the officials, but Kevin Lowe, Dryden's got to get in there and get Rakowski off. You know, he's on top of Fogelin.
Terry Rakowski is still all tied up in front of the Oilers net. There's still a lot of friction going on in that area. Dave Dryden has Rakowski in a bit of a bear hug. Care to dance?
Well, what happened there is the Blackhawks, with that man advantage, have that extra man out there, and Rakowski, he was on top of Fogelin. So somebody has to get in and you know, help Fogelin out. But I think things have quieted down now. The officials have broken everything up. Only 2:12 left in this game. Blackhawks enjoying that 4-2 lead.
Well, let's sort this one out.
Now they're all crowded around that penalty box. You don't know who's going in there yet. I know Rakowski's going to get a penalty, and Fogelin will probably go to the box.
Of course, Pat Price is already in the penalty box. He's been there for the last minute 7 seconds. But after they get the penalties sorted out, they're going to have to go back to the Oiler net and try to find their sticks and their gloves, and that takes a few minutes.
But you know, Tim, when you look at the whole game, the way the Oilers played tonight, I think for the first time, I think they did a very commendable job, and it looked like the effort was there. They played hard, but you know, that experience, they may have been in awe on some of the Blackhawk players. You know, when you play against a guy like Makita, Esposito, Coral, who's been there a long time. But I think that the product that the Oilers have this year will be a real good product to watch, and they're going to provide the Edmonton fans with a lot of good hockey. It's going to take a little time and a little patience.
Let's have another look at how that thing started.
Well, there's Lysiak behind, and Fogelin will come in to just take him out of the play. That's what he's supposed to do. Kerr ends up with a puck now. Myers has called a penalty. We don't see what's happened. But there it is right in front of the net, and Rakowski jumps Fogelin from behind. And, of course, nobody can help out because the Blackhawks have that extra man advantage.
Well, Rakowski had a bit of a reputation as being kind of a chippy player last year, and I know he likes to beat these Oilers. It goes way back to the World Hockey Association. He'll do anything to win.
Well, he's done a little bit of everything tonight. Played very aggressively, spent some time in the penalty box, set up a goal.
Number 4, Kevin Lowe, 2 minutes for tripping, 5 minutes for fighting.
Kevin Lowe, 2 minutes for tripping, 5 minutes for fighting.
Number 2, Lee Vogelin, 2 minutes for roughing.
Vogelin, 2 minutes for roughing.
Number 14, Blair McDonald, a game misconduct.
Blair McDonald gets a game misconduct with 12 seconds to go.
Well, that was probably for helping out one of his teammates. You know, we didn't see that. We were following the play in the corner, so we didn't see McDonald get involved.
Lee Vogelin. Blackhawks penalties. Number 22, Grant Mulvey, 2 minutes for high sticking, 5 minutes for fighting.
Grant Mulvey, 2 minutes for high sticking and 5 for fighting.
Kerry Ruskowski, 2 minutes for roughing.
Ruskowski gets a 2-minute roughing penalty. Vogelin going to the locker room. Gallagher and McDonald talking it over with Myers.
2 minutes for tripping, 5 minutes for fighting. Edmonton penalty, Vogelin, 2 minutes for roughing and a game misconduct.
I'll tell you what, Gary, the Chicago fans don't come out in droves as they used to, but the fans that do turn out certainly love their Blackhawks. They certainly love their hockey.
Well, they're very boisterous tonight, and I think with the play of Ruskowski, you know, they may get some more people out here. I think the Blackhawks have been looking for somebody to add a little spark to their hockey club, and they may have just found him. If tonight's play is any indication of what this young fellow can do, I'm sure that he will be an asset to their hockey club.
Well, again, a reminder of the games coming up here on Wednesday Night Hockey. Next week, it's the Minnesota North Stars and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dave Hodge, Bill Hewitt, Brian McFarland, and Bob Golden will handle the broadcast duties on that one. And then 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be in New York, New York.
The Big Apple.
The Big Apple, the game between the Oilers and the New York Rangers. And, of course, it will be live.
Well, that should be quite a contest with the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. You know, the fans in Edmonton, they've seen Hedberg and Nielsen play. And the Rangers, again, reaching the finals last year, put on quite a performance. Freddie Shero, former one of my favorite people. I learned a lot from him, and now coaching the Rangers, and we'll have some great stories about Freddie Shero in that game.
Just a reminder on the times on those games. The Minnesota-Toronto matchup next Wednesday, a 6 o'clock start in Edmonton. That's the Edmonton time. And Edmonton time as well on that game out of New York, 5:30. So mark that down on your calendar. Well, they've got things straightened out here, and we can resume this third period. 2:12 left to play. The Blackhawks lead at 4-2. John Marks scored twice for the Hawks. Preston and Murray have single goals. Lowe and Hunter have accounted for the Oilers scoring. There's Stan Mikita. What a terrific career he's had.
You know what makes Stan Mikita so effective is when he carries the puck, somehow the defense always back in. You know, you just can't give up the zone against him. You have to try and take him before the blue line. If you don't, he just seems to give you that puck, take it away, make the play, it's in the net. But he's been doing that for years.
A face-off coming up to Dryden's left. Lysiak will face off. Well, Blair McDonald's still out there. They said over the PA he had a game misconduct. What's he still doing? Must have been a mix-up.
Well, they've got the penalty box door open, and they're still waiting for somebody to go over there. You know, I just didn't see anything happen with Blair McDonald that, you know, he would get that game misconduct. And I guess he didn't get any penalty at all, so they must have made some kind of mistake there.
Right. Now Dave Lumley goes to the penalty box.
You know, Coach Eddie Johnson, he's got Marks out there on this power play, trying to get him that third goal for the hat trick.
So McDonald will face off against Lysiak. 2:12 left. From the draw. They're all tied up in the circle. Lysiak goes to the corner. Hicks kicks it around the board. Colin Campbell playing it out to center ice. Wilson recovered. Plays it across to Murray. He goes behind his net. have a one-man advantage. And an offside against Chicago. Keep in mind, Pat Price still has 30 seconds remaining in his penalty.
Well, you know, I found out, Tim, as we see Mark's getting ready for the face-off, every game is a learning experience. You know, if the players on the Oilers, if they can learn something from this game, you know, correct their mistakes and just get ready for the next one.
On the face-off, Marks brings it into Oiler territory. Hicks breaks it up, plays it down the ice. Murray, the lead pass for Lysiak, going right in. Got by Dryden, but the puck bounced wide of the net. As Dryden came way out, and he's playing without his stick again. Out of the cage. It comes across to Murray. Around the boards to the side of the net. And McDonald picking it up for the Oilers. Out to center. He was checked by Lysiak. Getting the pass to John Marks in on the left wing side. Marks watched by Hicks. Into Wilson. Goes to the corner with Blair McDonald. And they draw the whistle with 1:01 left to play.
You know,
Doug Wilson must have spent at least 70% of this game on the ice.
there we see Lysiak just almost deflecting that puck past Dryden. You know, when a goalie comes out there, that's a hit or a miss situation. If you don't come up with that puck, you know that the puck is going to end up in your net. But Dryden anticipated very well there and got to it before Lysiak.
Stan Mikita facing off against Gretzky just outside the Oilers line. As you heard, we're in the last minute. Bristow Siltanen. His pass for Callaghan too far. O'Connell couldn't clear it out of his zone. They still jam for it. In behind the net is Gretzky. Looking for someone to set it up to. Price missed the pass. Hit along the boards, Mikita and Price. Comes loose. Coro. Pass to the open left wing. And with 35 seconds, Siltanen gives it to Price. Both sides at equal advantage. This is Price in over the line. Handing it off to Callaghan. Head of the slot. Lets a wrist shot go. Deflected wide. Callaghan picking it up once again. Being watched by Mikita. Gives it to Siltanen. The drive. And it was wide. Now along the left wing boards, they jam for it. Siltanen comes up with it at the point. Bruskowski back into the penalty. The shot wide by Price. 6 seconds left to play. Coming down the ice is Bruskowski. He failed to hang on to the pass 1 second ago. The game is over. And the Chicago Blackhawks defeat the Edmonton Oilers 4-2.
Well, it was a good team effort by the Blackhawks. They came to play tonight, did a very good job of forechecking, taking their wingers, and a strong performance by Tony Esposito.
And so the final score once again, the Edmonton Oilers 2, the Chicago Blackhawks 4. In a moment, the Molson 3-star selection.